feeling grounded is a sense every human being wants to have. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of feeling grounded that's starting to feel lost, not just for myself, but just in the society in general, and for myself too. And there's a sense of groundedness that you can have one day and not the next day. And with change and everything that's happening just in the landscape of the world and everything, it's good to reflect on what it is that makes you grounded, and see kind of like, I don't know, how that's always shifting all the time too, you know?
I've also come to terms that it's no longer our world. And what I mean by that, it's like, I'm an old man now, and everything that's happening in the world now, like, it doesn't belong to me anymore. It's like the new generation's coming up, you know, and the things that I liked or what made up my generation is now fading away, you know? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
You get that feeling. And sometimes there are certain things that they play onus to, and they celebrate some of the things that we grew up to, you know, some of the celebrities or whatever else.
Like Boys to Men singing the national anthem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
There's still some of that gets left over, you know, but it's almost like, hey, we're doing that as a recognition,
an homage and respect to that old dying generation.
Yeah. But goodbye. And that's our generation, you know?
Yeah. I remember being the ones looking up to that old generation saying, what is this boring old people? Like, they need to move on and put on more modern stuff. And now it's like, we're that generation or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It's no longer our world. And it's growing so fast, you know, and the new generation's coming up, and they have their own way of, you know, living and thinking that sometimes for me, I just feel out of place, you know, like I always have this saying that I always say all the time. It's, I say like, I'm an analog man in a digital world. Yeah. Cause it's like, that's how I feel, you know, it's just, everything is so different nowadays. Everything's perfectly done and organized. And, you know, now with AI and technology and everything and the advancement of everything that's happening in the world, like I can't keep up anymore. But also at the same time, it's like, it's exciting, you know, like I'm excited to see exactly what the new future generation is going to propose and present itself. And not just in a sense of what we have, but culturally, you know, like how we live and how we carry on our everyday and society and how we make a living, you know, and survive and all that kind of stuff. But also at the same time, I'm kind of like, man, I just miss the old school days, you know, like.
What the hell are you two doing? It's called rocking out. You wouldn't understand, Dad. You're not with it. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you. No way, man. We're gonna keep on rocking forever. 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 Forever.
There's a lot of experiences I'm experiencing now that we're becoming geezers. And I know there's probably a bunch of people like 40, 30. That's nothing. Like older people love to tell younger people, you guys aren't even old. So I know that we're not that old, but I was thinking, but just with the reflections about, like you said, the things we loved, the things that we adored, the things we followed, they're not the mainstream anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our mainstream died a long time ago. Like today's mainstream, I don't even know. Like I don't know the mainstream stuff now. And that's, again, it's indicative that you're just getting older. That everybody likes to feel that this experience of clinging on to something that's no longer there, and whatever we're clinging on to was way better than what it is today. And, you know, this generation had it better. And then the other therapist voice will say, this is just a part of aging. You just need to move on. It's okay. Every generation before you, when they hit a certain mid-age, they felt those same feelings. So it's like, okay, I'm a part of that system of reflection. But then you can also have to say, maybe there was shit that was so much better back in the day than it is today. Because there's a lot of shit today that's terrible. And it's not like about like objectively what's better, but it is the technology, the hyper reductiveness of the content that kids are watching today it's terrible. Like on an objective level, it's not a generational gap. It's stuff that's deduced to the bottom line of, I know I get this kid's attention for 10 seconds. I better do this short video, that does some absurd thing. Every YouTube, making it big, the hip thing, it vies for your attention because they know it's valuable. They have the headliner of that YouTube video say a certain thing to remark your intrigue. So everything's reduced to that. So there's that aspect too. There's objectively, humanity as a creative spirit is sort of degenerating, and a part of that's technology. Part of AI writes everything for you perfectly. Like
every generation of childhood required kids to go out and play and meet and hang out and socialize. They'd go to each other's houses. Like when I was a kid, we used to go down the street to our buddy Gerald and Jerry's house and play video games. We'd meet up with them. We rode bikes. If we wanted to, that was our idea, having fun. That was fun, to socialize,
you gotta go out, gotta get out of the house.
The 90s were like that. The 80s would have been like that. The 70s, the 60s, the 50s, going all the way back to the beginning of humankind time, And it wasn't until now that the new generation doesn't do that. And I think that's such a drastic change on society of humans, at least in, first world views, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where kids don't really do that. I mean, I'm not saying the kids don't do it at all, period. But kids, that's not like a common thing. Kids have options now. They could just sit home all day and just sit on their YouTube all day long, or play their video games as they get older. They don't have to go out there and socialize for the idea of fun anymore. And I'm seeing that become more and more prevalent nowadays, where it's just like, I don't know exactly what that does to the psyche or the culture of society as a whole going into the future, and where these kids become adults. Like, what kind of generation of adults are we raising? Who are they going to become, and how are they going to lead the new world, without those little fundamental things as kids do, you know what I'm saying? And then that's been such a dramatic change for me, and I'm comparably to all the generations in time up until now. And it's been that's just one small aspect that I just feel like I don't understand anymore. That's why I feel like this new generation and this new life is I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying that, it's wrong or morally incorrect or anything that at all. I'm just saying it's different, and I don't know what's going to happen and how that's going to come out on the other end of things.
And then again, the remark would be, well, every older generation always has these old geezer concerns about the next generation. Come on. That is true. But at the same time, your point is made in the uniqueness of the situation by stressing the point. In what period of all human history have kids or adults or anybody been able to find amusement and leisure 100% without leaving their home, without leaving the room? And they could do that not just for a day, but days on end. In all of society, like if you sought out, because every human, that's an innate need for to kill your boredom. You need food, you need comfort, but you need to be satisfied in your amusement. You need to be motivated and find things rewarding, to find things fun. You seek it out. That's an innate need for any human. You go out to do that. Like what you said, when we were kids, you had to go out to get that. Because if you're stuck at home, there's barely anything there.
To experience it,
To experience it. Yeah, so this is a first generation in all of human history where, there's hordes of folks that don't ever, the basement gremlins, or even kid versions of basement gremlins that can find leisure, entertainment, satisfaction without leaving their home for days on end. So and then extrapolate that. I don't know.
And what does that do to kids experiencing and learning and becoming adults? Like kids nowadays, they know ice cream tastes good because that's what everyone said on TikTok, or that's what they read. But they haven't even tried the ice cream themselves. But they have that knowledge that it's good. And it is true, depending on the person. But I'm just saying it's a fact. Ice cream tastes good. But they only know that information because they've learned that through the access of information that they've been given but they've never eaten that scoop of ice cream before.
That specific flavor or whatnot.
Or whatever. I'm just using that
I know.
as the example, you know, and you know, you take that same example and you just relay that across the board of everything that you learn through the process of experience and trial and error and living life, not just reading it from a book, but actually going through that wisdom of understanding it. And we have an entire generation that is missing out on that. An entire generation that is capturing everything amongst what is shown to them on their screen. And I think that's probably why there's such an influence and push and pull regarding people's morals, people's beliefs, the culture, the state of the nation, the world. I mean, not to get too hard. We went from talking about football and, you know, whatever else to this, but I'm just saying in general, like, I feel like that's why there's such an influence of different opinions, you know, that are so vast, because no one's really feeling or knowing what is really going on. Everyone is really just getting the information from their trusted sources of information, you know, and who knows what is going on? You got to use that logic, but who knows, you know?
I saw a really fascinating, like Jordan Peterson interview with Jonathan Haidt, who was also a psychologist, and their primary thing was going through Jonathan's most recent book. He's the same guy that wrote that Righteous Mind book that I talked about.
Okay.
And so he was talking about the great correlation he's seeing with the advent of personal devices, the correlation with that. Now he says it's correlation. It's not indicative, but it's correlation of handheld devices, social media, with just this huge increase of suicide or teen suicide, particularly among females. And he was just going on, also just talking about just sort of the detrimental effects of just sort of the social psychology and things that are taking place in these environments. So people are getting their social satisfaction without leaving their house, or their social disappointment without leaving the house. They're being shamed without leaving the house, or being praised and loved without leaving the house. All that happening within their device. Yeah, I don't know.
Or even their sexual satisfaction, you know? I mean, sex is a huge driver of why, like, boys and girls, when they become adults, they go out and meet each other and do things, you know? And that's our reproductive
It's innate. It's in dogs. They roam. That's what they do. Like, you got to get out. You got to roam.
Natural driver of everything, you know? And it has such a profound influence on society and culture. And now, like, with everything, it kills that drive, you know? And I don't know, like, what is that gonna do to the psyche? But anyways, sorry, you were saying something.
No, I don't know. I don't know what I was saying in particular, but that's kind of what I was talking about. But that interview was really fascinating because it echoes a lot of the things we've been talking about now. Just again, how dehumanization of our society, everything being reduced to the bottom line of people's attention for a split second because it's the most lucrative way. And I see the shit that like my kids will browse through the shorts on YouTube. It's garbage, man. Like it's not the geezer saying this entertainment sucks. You should watch Tom and Jerry. You know, but they love Tom and Jerry actually. But
or even like educational shows back in the days with like on PBS.
Of course,
like
man.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, man, the magic school bus that would turn tiny and go into the
Reading Rainbow, whatever. You know, there's so many good educational stuff that really sparked like imagination and, you know, learning and all that kind of stuff. Now it's just, man, look at me, I'm jumping in the toilet. Yeah.
That's exactly it, though.
Right?
So now it's not a matter of comparing our content's better than your content. That's not the comparison. It's how the content is even produced, like, or meaning what form does it come in? Not just the fact that it's video versus a TV show on PBS. It's the fact that one had a beginning, middle, end. One encouraged whoever was viewing it to sort of be invited to see how things unfold. Stick with the program. This is developing into something. You have to have a beginning, middle, end. The attention span today can't do that. You have to have the most entertaining factor within 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And And then when you get bored, you just switch it.
Yeah.
You know, they were talking about in their podcast how that TikTok or YouTube or whatever, they purposely designed those short videos to emulate like slot machines, the dopamine effect. If you don't like what you're seeing, well, you can switch it and like something else, you know, and you do switch it. And that was really fun. And it was a kick. And then you want to watch the next one. And then,